If you're dealing with all those frustrating symptoms, the rashes, the headaches, digestive problems, maybe even things you wouldn't expect like chronic bladder pain or fertility struggles, you've probably heard it could be a histamine issue. But what if there's way more to it than that? Today, we're going to get into what is really going on inside your body when you're struggling with histamine intolerance.
All right, so here's what we're going to cover. We'll kick things off by talking about the real problem with histamine. Then we'll introduce a really simple idea, the histamine bucket, to see where it all comes from and how your body is supposed to deal with it. After that, we'll dig into the super important gut connection and finally lay out a whole new way to think about getting back to balance.
So first things first, let's talk about something so many people experience. You've got all these histamine symptoms, you pop an antihistamine, but nothing really changes. What is going on there?
This is such a key question because the answer really shows us that we've been looking at this problem all wrong. It's not some simple allergy that you can just switch off with a pill. The reality is much, much bigger.
Okay, so here's the thing. Your body actually has 4 different doors, or receptors, for histamine. Now, most of the allergy meds you buy only block the first 2, the H1 and H2 receptors. And sure, that can help a bit with sniffles or hives, but it leaves the other 2 doors, H3 and H4, completely wide open. For some people, that can actually stir things up and make symptoms feel even worse. It's an incomplete solution.
So, if it's not just a straightforward allergy, then what on earth is it? To really get our heads around this, we're going to use a really simple metaphor that makes everything click. The histamine bucket. This really explains the whole problem perfectly. Just imagine your body has a bucket. A little histamine is no big deal. It just sits at the bottom. But the problem is, we have all these different taps pouring histamine in. From food, from bacteria in our gut, even from stress. And at the bottom of the bucket, there's a drain. That's your body's natural system for clearing it out. The symptoms you feel, that's not the histamine itself. It's the overflow, when the taps are on full blast and the drain just can't keep up.
And that's exactly what histamine intolerance is. It's not really a disease. It's a state of imbalance. You might hear it called a terrain issue, which is just a way of saying the problem isn't the histamine itself, it's the environment in your body that can't handle the load. And that overflow is what can lead to migraines, hives, and yes, even things like bladder pain or period problems.
All right, so let's get a little more specific. What exactly are these taps that are filling up your bucket? Where is all of this histamine coming from?
Well, it's coming from a lot of places. You've got the usual suspects, of course, like aged foods and alcohol, but look at what else is on this list. Your gut health, your own immune system, and this is a big one, your hormones and your stress levels. They are all major players.
And this hormone connection, it's a total game changer, especially for women. See, estrogen does a double whammy. It signals your cells to release more histamine. And at the exact same time, it slows down the very enzymes that are supposed to clean it up. This is exactly why symptoms can go haywire right before your period or during the huge hormonal shifts of perimenopause.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the taps filling the bucket. Now let's flip it around and look at the drain. How is your body's amazing cleanup crew supposed to be handling all this?
Your body basically has 3 main systems to do this job. The superstar is an enzyme called DAO. That's your #1 defense, right there in your gut. Then you've got a backup called HNMT that works inside your cells. But the really important thing to see here is that last column, impaired by. Things like gut inflammation, alcohol, and estrogen can literally slow down your main drain, DAO, and that is how it gets clogged.
And I just want to pause on alcohol for a second because this is huge. Just one drink can slam the brakes on key enzymes your body needs to detox histamine. It's like it steals the workers who are supposed to be emptying your bucket. And that's why for so many people that 1 glass of wine is a guaranteed recipe for feeling awful.
So we know gut inflammation can slow down that DAO enzyme. But honestly, it's so much more important than just that. Let's talk about the single biggest reason that drain gets clogged and the bucket overflows.
This is it. Right here, if you only remember one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. The root of the problem, so often, starts right in your gut. A damaged, inflamed gut is the #1 reason the drain gets clogged.
And here's why that is. That super important DAO enzyme isn't just floating around. It's what's known as a brush border enzyme. That means it is literally manufactured by the healthy cells that line your intestines. So it's simple. If that gut lining is damaged, your body's factory for making its main histamine-clearing tool is essentially shut down.
Now, you don't need to memorize all these, but these are just some of the clues we can see in lab work that point to this problem. They show us things like a leaky gut, a weak gut immune system, poor digestion, and inflammation, all signs that the factory that's supposed to be producing your DAO enzyme is in serious trouble.
So, once you understand all of this, it completely changes the game. We can stop chasing symptoms and start thinking about a real, effective path to feeling better for good.
This is the big shift in thinking. The old way is just symptom suppression, right? It's like constantly mopping up an overflowing sink with paper towels, the antihistamines. But the real strategy, the root cause approach, is about turning down the taps and, most importantly, fixing the broken drain. When you focus on healing your gut, you are literally rebuilding the factory that makes DAO, so your body can empty its own bucket again.
So I want to leave you with this one final thought. Instead of seeing your symptoms as just this random, awful thing you have to silence, try asking this question: what is my body trying to tell me? Because those symptoms, they aren't the enemy, they're messengers. And very, very often, that message is a powerful call to heal your gut, which is the true key to finally getting that histamine bucket back in balance.